Just anything, whatever you want to talk about.
Here we go, baby. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
What's up? What's up? Welcome to a special edition of Down South Sports Fanatics. We're going to dive into the NBA draft tonight. We're going to dive into a bunch of stuff going on with the WNBA, of course, a bunch of coaches' moves and stuff like that. And at the end of the show, I think we're going to dive into maybe a little tidbit of some fantasy football on the topic. You know, that's always good to dive in, especially with people having their dynasty and their keeper leagues with being dropped players and stuff like that. So listen, without further ado, I want to introduce my co-host. They got it. The truth himself, the hard truth. What's up, Mr. Pancho Gonzalez?
What's up, man? It's big afternoon this afternoon for some basketball fans.
And to you, welcome back, sir. I know you had a good little vacation too with your family, man. That was good, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Also, we know him as we call him the voice of reason. I just call him the voice, you know. What's up, Dave Robin?
Hey, what's going on, man? My Cubs are playing like shit, but it's an exciting day to be a Pels fan. I think some movement's going to happen, dude. Something's going down tonight. I believe it. I feel it, man.
Well, listen, let's dive into more of the news around the NBA, for the last couple of weeks. Of course, the coaching changes, the Monty Williams firing that really struck people by surprise. Dave, were you surprised by that? Because he's so well respected around the league, and it kind of looked like it took him by surprise, too.
Yeah, dude. I mean, look, if anybody, any normal fan, just average Joe out there can name 5 players on the Pistons, man, they deserve like a special treat because that team was a disaster. I mean, outside of Cade Cunningham, who they got first overall a few years back, the roster is terrible. I mean, they won a massive losing streak. I think it was like 28 games last year. But, dude, you can't bring in a guy like Monty with that roster and just can him after 1 year. You owe him $65 million. I mean, this is the mark of what I call a bad organization, dude. I mean, I don't get it at all. I mean, Trajan Langdon's there. So, I mean, he's behind this. The former Pels GM, he just got that job. So, I mean, there's either some bad personalities going at it. I mean, Monty seems like the coolest guy in the room, but something's going on, man. I mean, I don't know if you guys know anything further on it, but it's just bizarre that you fire a guy with that roster who you're trying to lead a rebuild with, and you leave that much money guaranteed to him. And now you got to go find another coach,
Yeah, Pancho, what's your thoughts on it, Pancho? I mean, I know you
Didn't not only did Trey's go there, I think one of our big assistants went there also. So it can be a shoe-in for him. Was it Venison or the shooting coach?
Vincent, yeah.
So I'm not saying that's the move, but when you got two guys, upper management and lower management, moving at the same time, kind of bring my own guy in there. It does kind of suck for Monty, but I don't know if Monty. That might be his last trip around the sun as a head coach. So yeah, I mean basketball right now with JJ Redick going with the Lakers. You got some speculations of what's going to happen over there. So yeah, there's Paul George movements going around. So there's a lot going on.
It's surprising to me the money they're going to owe us, man, just by releasing him like that, and he's still getting paid from Phoenix, which is crazy to me too. And he's so well liked around the league. It just seems like the guy can't catch a break. And I think these teams Monty really needs to. I hate to say it, he needs to go to a young team that they can be patient with him and let him develop players. Because I think he's a hell of he's a great human being first of all, and a great coach too.
I mean, look at Phoenix. Phoenix at work.
Monty's agent has to be the best agent there is right now. You know what I'm saying?
He's making
get big contracts and getting fired, and get big contracts and getting fired.
Monty's got a hell of a severance package, man, right now that he's dealing with. No, I mean, hey, dude, but you made a point about Fred Vinson, going there. Fred's always been known as like the shooting specialist. He worked with a lot of guys over the years, and he's highly regarded. He was one of the longest tenured guys in the whole organization, with the Pelicans. But it's funny because I think there was a quote from Fred Vinson. I don't know if Fatty could pull it up, but I want to say Fred Vinson, a big part of him leaving to go to Detroit was Monty Williams. That's what I find really bizarre about this thing, because I want to say that was an actual quote, that the chance to join Monty was, a big deal for him.
So just to give you a little laugh, so Fred Vinson is the guy you always see in the interviews at halftime or after he was always that coach that stood in and took all them interviews, on TV. So he's kind of groomed for I guess the next step.
But don't you find it's a weird quote though to say, hey, I really wanted to go join Monty, and then Monty gets fired like a week later. I mean, I don't.
To me, that's what is really shocking, because we know the man that Monty is, and he wouldn't have told that guy, hey, listen, come join me, knowing I'm getting fired, and he wouldn't know he did that.
That's bizarre, man. It really is. It's one of the weirdest situations. I mean, I know the Lakers thing's pretty nuts, but I almost find, I know it's less, important because it's the Pistons and they haven't been relevant for a long time. But to me, it's a more bizarre situation. Like, what happened there? You know what I mean? I wonder if it'll ever really come out. But it's pretty bizarre.
Yeah, but you bring up the Lakers. That's a complete shit show over there, man. And everybody knows I'm a Lakers fan, but I'm a call it like I see it, dude. It's basically LeBron doing what LeBron wants to do, holding this franchise hostage. No telling, and we all think I think his son's going to get drafted in the first round. Pancho said second. Dave don't think he's getting drafted. You don't think he's getting drafted at all.
I'll say second round. So he's not going to the first. Second round, I do believe somebody will be foolish enough. Well, I mean, the Lakers. Well, now that LeBron's committed to the Lakers, I don't know, dude. Does anybody have to draft him now? I mean, you're not getting LeBron.
LeBron hasn't signed yet, though. He hasn't signed a deal.
So what's the story with the extension? Isn't he supposed to be making like $53 million at like 41 years old?
He said he's not signing no extension until after the draft.
So that's, to me, holding a team hostage, going to get a guy that you podcast with who has no coaching experience beyond fourth graders to coach an NBA team. And I like JJ as an analyst. I like JJ as a player. But, I mean, I think that's crazy, man. You firing Darvin Ham for a guy that has no experience. I'm not saying Darvin Ham was anything special, but the guy wasn't terrible. I mean, I didn't look at him and say, hey, that guy can't coach NBA basketball. I mean, it's a popularity contest.
Dave, don't you find it funny, Pancho, and I want your opinion on this. Don't you find it funny that this is the first year the NBA will be broadcasting the second round? Isn't that funny? You think that's coincidence?
No, not at all.
No,
you know what that's about.
Yeah,
you know what ratings.
But piggybacking off what Dave said, I mean, you had a bunch of guys that I guess jumped from the booth to the saddle. I mean, Jason Kidd, I didn't think he coached much. Steve Kerr didn't coach much. Mark Jackson didn't coach much, and they all jumped in the saddle and succeeded from recent memory. So the difference, JJ could work. I mean, like I said, I just rolled off three guys that.
Well, I think the thing you brought up a great point, Pancho. I think the thing with JJ was JJ's. I mean, listen to me. I think the difference between Jason Kidd and JJ is Jason Kidd in a part of his career was kind of cuckoo there for a little bit. If you remember him dyeing the hair, the piercings, and you don't remember none of that, man. He went kind of. He had a drinking problem. He had a drinking problem. Yeah, he had a drinking. Look it up. He had a
I remember Jason Kidd had a little bit of some issues. I remember him and Jimmy Jackson were like fighting over Tony Braxton at one point when he was younger. I remember Chris Paul pulling his ass in that playoff series 2 years ago. That we went, we were going to every game, standing ovation. I don't think we sat in those playoff games.
I honestly think if it wouldn't have been for the Dallas having so much success recently with Jason Kidd, I honestly think Jason Kidd was going to the Lakers. I really did.
I mean, Redick's weird. I mean, I know Pancho. I agree, Pancho. I mean, I think there were some things there. I mean, Mark Jackson, he started the thing for Steve Kerr, and I get that. A lot of fans say that, but to me, what I find what's really now. I mean, Mark Jackson was a point guard. Jason Kidd was a point guard. I think it's easier to transition, for those guys who manage an offense. I think like catchers in baseball, they say make great managers many times. Point guards to me.
Phil Jackson wasn't no point guard.
No, he wasn't. But he had the best. He's had Michael Jordan, Shaq, Kobe, Scottie Pippen. I mean, look, I'm not saying Phil's not a great coach. Phil is, he's the man to take it over the edge. I don't think he's an X's and O's coach like Popovich. I think he's a good X's and O's, not great. I think he's a perfect personality to handle superstars.
Whoa, kid from Kick is in. You seen it, Pancho?
Who went one?
I'm trying to see it myself.
Is it Alexander Sarr from Australia?
No, it's not him.
Two French guys.
Sriracha, whatever his name is.
Sriracha, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Wow.
Yep.
I want to say this real. That's the first pick just happened.
Yep, just happened. Yep, Atlanta Hawks.
This has to be the most unsexy NBA draft is.
I would agree. I couldn't agree more, Pancho.
There's no big names. You got 5 out of the top 10 guys are from a different country. Not that that's a problem, but your colleges aren't producing, and a lot of times I think the colleges are killing the kids, or the high school trying to get to that pros. Is it the nil fact? So what's killing it? What's killing this?
Well, look how many guys are in the developmental league as well, Pancho. We saw with Scoot Henderson last year. There's like probably 5 guys in the top 20 that coming out of developmental as well.
Yep.
So that changed things a lot from
you think that, Dave? You think that's a lot to do with the Pelicans letting that draft pick go to the Lakers?
What's that? With what you mean?
17th, with the 17th.
I think the Pels. I think the reason behind it is, like you said, it's a soft draft, and I think the Pels. I know you're a Lakers fan. You're not going to like hearing this, but I think the Pels are betting that the Lakers are going to go backwards as a team. So I mean, you got a better draft possibly next year, and you're betting on the Lakers to fail a little more. You know what I'm saying?
But Dave, but let's be realistic, Dave. As long as you got AD and LeBron, your team's gonna be.
Well, they'll win 40 games. They should win at least 40 games. I mean, I'm not saying Reddick's going to be a horrible disaster. I'm not going to say that.
I'm thinking you think. Listen, I'm thinking you thinking that the Pelicans are betting the Lakers are going to be in a lottery.
Listen,
well, I mean, hey, look, if Anthony Davis, if Davis gets hurt, I don't know, man.
My mind hasn't wavered since day one. The only asset that you have, 100% asset that you have, is AD. So, and at this point, you have no other assets, and that means draft picks. You don't have future draft picks. You don't have anything. Anything in the future, you have to sign. You have to sign people to come play. So you can trade AD for a ransom right now and set this franchise up better.
Pancho, there's speculation right now. They're about to give Anthony Davis a massive contract extension.
I would not do it. I would trade him and get at least 2 stars and 3
first round picks. They saying upwards of 6 to 7 years.
Wow. I mean, look, I don't know, man. The Lakers, to me, are just managed. I mean, I look at a team like Boston, the way they're managed. I'm looking at like Oklahoma City. A lot of these other teams, the management is so different.
You wouldn't take DeRozan, Levine, and a couple
picks for
AD.
I would go super young, man. I would try to find that young team that's getting a little bit too, they're getting fidgety and they want to compete like Houston. Okay, Houston wants a superstar. Guess what? You want Anthony Davis? Give me Sengun and give me Jalen Green, and let's call it a day. Give me your 3rd pick as well, and see if they're willing to jump at something stupid like that. Because if I was them, I would make that deal right now. I would take 2 or 3 of those guys from Houston in his 3rd pick overall and send Anthony Davis back into H-Town.
Yeah. What do y'all listen? Let's dive into a little bit because listen. In a little bit, Gus Kattengell of ESPN New Orleans is going to be joining us soon. So let's start it off a little bit.
Let's give a shout out to the Big Easy. Go ahead, Rich.
Absolutely. Let's give a shout out to the Big Easy Mafia, one of our main sponsors, and we are their official podcast show. Listen, before we dive into our Pelican stuff, I want to dive into a little bit of the Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark stuff. A lot of people feel now, not only Angel Reese being left off the USA team, they're now saying it's a shame that both of them were left off the USA team. What are y'all thoughts on that?
My whole take on this is, as the WNBA as a whole, what are you trying to do with your product? Are you trying to put your best foot forward and present your product to the world and get the world's eyes on it? Because if you want that to happen, you put Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark on that team, and you showcase it to the world on the world stage, and you get more young girls interested playing the sport, and then from there they catch the hype, and then the hype comes back with them, and then you have more people in the arenas. You put Magic and Bird out there, and re-showcase it. Basically, is what you're doing.
Yeah.
So you can recreate it, or you can shut it down and keep surviving off the crumbs that you paying the girls, these women,
Listen, you making it.
$80,000 a year to play basketball,
You,
and when you can, Caitlin Clark and Reese was getting millions and millions and millions. Just offered use that to an exposure to it. Put
Well,
them in
they
the
should
USA
embrace
shirt.
this, though. All those other girls in the league should embrace what's happening, though, right now. I mean, to me, it's like, hey, dude, if like we're doing a podcast and like some Joe Blow comes off the street and joins the podcast, and all of a sudden we're like on every network in America, I'm not going to sit there and piss and moan about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, guess what? It wasn't them. The league was in trouble before these two got there. But guess what? Now the league, the TV ratings are up, jersey sales are up. Yeah, they're making more money, these two girls. But, dude, the league as a whole has a lot more eyes on it. You know what I mean? So to me, these other girls should be thrilled about that.
Dave, you make a great point because Sunday's game between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, both teams have losing records, and it was the most watched game of the season.
I was watching, dude. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was watching, and I mean, and dude, I would have never. And this is nothing sexist. I just don't watch a lot of WNBA. It's not my thing. I'm watching baseball right now. It's Cubs. It's summer.
But you watched it because of the buzz. You watched it because of the buzz of the,
Well, yeah, absolutely. I wanted to see that, and I mean, dude, to me, Fatty made a good point about the USA team. I want to say a couple shows ago, and I mean, to me, I know maybe there's a more deserving girl or two that's put in their work, and I understand that. But like from a rating standpoint and from getting attention and bringing awareness to the brand even more, you put both of those girls on that U.S. team, in my opinion. So I'm
not saying they starting. You know what I'm saying? You're putting them on a team. You're putting them the last two on the end of the bench.
Right, and bring them in at some point, in a blowout or
for
something.
Instance, you got the USA 18U team.
Alexander Starr just went to the Wizards.
Holy shit.
You got the USA 18U team, girls, beating the Mexican team by 100 points. You get what I'm saying? So if you blowing out teams, you put them in and let them get the hype in. And
what is look? First, I want to say, listen, Lance, Cooch, Jared, all y'all, thank y'all for joining us, man. Thank y'all. Please share and like the link. I know y'all always
I'm not as good looking as Darren.
What's going on with the NBA right now? Two France guys, 1 and 2 last year. A France guy. What is going on with American basketball right now?
There's more, dude. I mean, there's more coming. See, there's what's that kid, Matas or whatever? They say he might be the best shot maker in the whole draft. They got about 3 or 4 more, Richie. That's probably going to go in the next 10 picks, man. It's wild.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I really don't know. It's a good question though, because like you said, the Euro. I mean, don't get me wrong. There was always great European players. I mean, back in the '90s, you had Drazen Petrovic. You had Tony Kukoc. Arvydas Sabonis. They had these guys were there. I mean, but now it's just another level, dude. Like you're saying, I mean, when you're talking about 4 of the best 10 players in the league are from other countries.
That's where Wemby came from, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, okay, that's what I'm saying. Look at Wemby,
Thank you for the compliment, Cooch. Cooch is always with his antics, dude.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Man, me and Cooch was in band together one time at band camp.
Band camp? There's a lot of flutes around there or what?
With Darren was in band with us too.
Who's that? Darren was in the band too?
Yeah, me, Darren, and Cooch.
You know what? Listen, Dave.
Who was playing the flute?
Oh my goodness.
I played it.
So Dave, here's my thing on it. And I think I told you all this before about where I think basketball is going at in America. As you know, we grow up, especially Pancho, you coach, Darren coaches. I've coached when my daughter was playing. Because of the age, you always stay in the age bracket. You're never able to play. If you're the best player on the team, you can't even move up and play with the older kids because of the age bracket. Well, guess what? Overseas and in France, everywhere, Luka at 13 years old was playing against grown men.
Right.
Well, that's why Caitlin was. She was playing against grown dudes. Like she was playing against men. That's how Caitlin got handles. Like men, because she grew up playing with.
We might get canceled for that, Pancho.
Look, even Lance commented. He said the difference is foreign players start playing professional early. It's true.
What's that? The Europeans, yeah.
Yes.
Well, dude, they've always been more fundamentally sound. It always seems like the Euro guys had their jump shot a little bit more. They were. They were just always more technically sound. They were almost more NBA ready back in the day, if that makes any sense. Even now, obviously we're seeing it. Look at Dirk. Dirk was one that kind of started that new era for me. I don't know, maybe I'm missing somebody else, but it seemed like Dirk was the one that really started it up again. You know what I mean? Like there were some good ones in the 90s, but when Dirk came along,
it was either Dirk or Steve Nash, one of them.
right? And you know, with
Man,
Dirk,
yeah,
man, it's funny.
I watched
Who's
some
that?
soccer this weekend, man. With the Croatian team, your boy looked like a Steve Nash. That's
Oh
a
yeah.
dude. Yeah, he's the oldest player in the game to get a goal. Dude, that Croatia-Italy game, dude, was serious, dude. I know I'm talking soccer, but I happened to catch in the accent of it,
Mark
dude.
might be in here for that, man. Mark might be in
Dude,
here, man.
that game had me hooked, bro. Just the way it ended, man, it was something. But anyways, go ahead, man. The soccer's big right now. Watch the
I don't
soccer.
even know. Hey, wait, dude, I got to ask one question. Speaking of soccer, is there really a Mexican women's basketball team?
Yeah.
Yes.
There really is.
Yeah.
Listen,
That's
you want to see
wild.
you want to see some fucking fans?
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Them soccer fans, the whole stadium shakes. The whole man, it's crazy,
Oh, the
man.
soccer fans, dude, they have Saints fans, and I think they're like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a Saints fan myself, so I'm not talking smack, but I mean, there's Saints fans like, oh, I don't take no bullshit from other fans, or I'm wild. No, dude, you ain't seen shit. Go to Santiago, Chile, or go to freaking Venezuela or Brazil and talk that shit. Those people are assassins. They got like 5-year-olds with machetes out there in the fucking stands. They don't.
Message.
It's fucking next level out there. They don't give a shit, dude. They have like those people don't care about their future. They just worried about winning that fucking soccer match. You know what I mean?
It's true, man. So listen, let's dive into a little bit until Gus joins us. Where do y'all see the Pelicans going with their picks today?
You got to go with this draft. I mean, you're still waiting for this trade to happen. The BI, something has to happen with BI at this point.
If something doesn't happen, are y'all shocked if something doesn't happen tonight?
I would be shocked. I think the move is to Trae Young. I really do.
Dave, isn't like basketball picks like they've been known to be traded after the draft. The basketball
they can't because Chris Webber with Penny Hardaway. Y'all remember all that stuff? Hey, look at Kobe. Kobe was drafted by the Hornets. You know what I mean?
Drafted by the Hornets. Yep.
I mean, Webber and Hardaway, they would flop like the day after or something.
Yeah, so
I mean, I'm going back to the early 90s.
I guess they're waiting for somebody to fall right in the pieces. So I guess the teams are waiting to see who falls in their lap through the draft.
That could be it. That could be it
before they pull a trigger on something.
I think they put the word out there that they trying to get BI out of here. I mean, they're not going to give him $50 million.
Yeah, and look, dude, and I want to say this, man, before Gus comes on. I'm a big fan of BI, and I wish that dude the best. He wanted to be here. He's always spoken, not speaked. He's always spoken about how he liked New Orleans more than Los Angeles. It was more his kind of vibe. And dude, it's nothing against his talent. I think the biggest problem why you can't give him this contract is it's not because of his numbers. It's because, and this isn't a knock on Zion, but you got two guys who miss a lot of time. I mean, I didn't even realize this till I was looking at his stats. I knew he always missed some time, but I think there was only one time in his career he played over 65 games, and this guy's been around for, 7 years or so? So, I mean, you can't have two guys that you're dishing out, $300 or $400 million in contracts to that are that unavailable. And that's not a knock on those guys. It's just what's been history, you know what I mean? So, I mean, it's nothing about his talent. I still believe if it wasn't his contract year and he had 2 more years left in his deal, I'm keeping BI and I'm going to find a point guard in that future center. But, I mean, it's just you can't – you got to move it at this point.
Listen, I think the worst –
like Cooch said, do you take the kid out of Purdue to be a center?
Was that Edie his name? Is that the one?
Edie, yes.
I like him, but I like this kid Poncho. I think turned me on to this kid. I've been watching his tape. That Yves Messi. I might be saying that right. The guy from Belgium.
Yeah.
That dude is very impressive. The Ware kid from Indiana's impressed me on tape, but that kid from Belgium, man, I don't know. He just looks like I think that kid's got some raw upside, man. And he looks like he knows what he's doing. That dude handles the ball. He's a little more aggressive than that Ware kid to me.
Wow,
I don't know.
Dave Reed Shepard just went
to Houston.
To Houston, yep.
That's surprising because it seemed like Houston wanted out of that pick, dude. But I'll tell you this: I got to give every mock drafter credit on that because a lot of people had that dude tagged to Houston.
They said he's the best pure shooter in the draft from what they said.
Oh, he is, no doubt. But
I mean, you got 5 foreign, you got 2 Kentuckys, 1 UConn guy, and it's like downhill from there.
It's all downhill from there, Pancho. You got it right, Pancho. It's all downhill from there.
Hey, guys, is Reed Shepard the next coming of Bryce Drew or what?
I don't know about that, dude. I don't know about that.
Golly. I want to see how many people in the comments remember old Bryce Drew. I mean, that should be.
Lance says we need a point guard bad.
Dude, listen, I'm going to mess with Gus a little bit on this. I completely agree with Gus. I think he's a great basketball guy, but me and him differed a little bit about point guard. Dude, how many times we watched this team have these stagnant possessions in the fourth quarter or come out flat right out of halftime? I think a good point guard doesn't allow that to happen, man. It's just like the ball stops moving sometimes.
But you're not gonna, I don't think you get that through the draft.
No, I think you make it in a trade. Yeah,
you're gonna have to get that in a trade because you can't. Because you got Jordan Hawkins, on an understudy program basically. You get what I'm saying? So you can't have another guy on that program unless you got a Ja Morant, in which you don't. You get
that's why I think they make him. That's why I think they make the move for Trae Young. I really do.
Well, look, to me, I think it's either Trae Young or DeJounte Murray. I think it's one of those two that's coming here, man. I think it's got to be.
Like, you might want to hang. Trae Young is not good. To me, he's not good.
Look, here's the thing.
He's a great shooter.
He's a great talent.
He's a poor man, Stephen. That's what he is to me.
And I get Pancho, and dude, I'm more in favor of going with DeJounte Murray. I think you make this move. I think there's a trade that could happen that makes a lot of sense, and maybe Gus, I don't know, I'd like to see his take on it. But I think Brandon Ingram, and you maybe possibly send a Dyson Daniels or a future first with Ingram to Atlanta for Clint Capella and DeJounte Murray. I think that deal makes more sense. You're basically getting two players for the price of what Trae Young costs. You could let Capella start for a year or two in front of a developmental center that we draft. And then you got a really good defensive point guard with Murray who can score. I mean, Murray put up some killer numbers when he had a chance, When Trae Young was out, Murray carried the load.
But Dave, we're saying we're taking a pure point guard. Does that change much? Because Zion brings the ball up a lot.
I think you still have to have that guy, though, man. Because, like even with Denver, Jamal Murray might not be the pure point guard, but he has tendencies. But you got the best passing big man of all time with Nikola Jokic, you know what I mean? So you got to have multiple guys that could initiate the offense for me.
You're putting a lot more weight on Zion's shoulders by getting rid of Ingram. So you can't give him all the duties. You can't say you got to take the ball up, make your own designs, and drive. And so you need him resting time because I don't think Zion and BI want to coexist with each other anymore. I really do. No, they did. It just the time them on the court together. You can't, like I said, Dave said, you can't afford for them to miss any time.
Yeah.
Plus,
but me and Dave differ on that, Pancho. I don't think Brandon Ingram's a true number 2 guy. I don't.
No,
Richie, look at all these teams that won him, though, man.
Richie, he's taking games over. He's put games on his back.
Man, he's not that guy, dude.
Richie, you got to remember Zion. Look, 2 years ago we made the playoffs and gave the Phoenix Suns a run. Zion wasn't even playing.
Here's the thing: if they do, say hypothetically they do keep Brandon Ingram, so he's number 2. Okay, if you look around the league at teams number 2, he's nowhere near even top 10.
But Rich, I don't know. I wouldn't say Jamal Murray's a top 10 number 2 guy.
He's better than Brandon Ingram.
I don't think they're that far off. I think I'd take Ingram probably.
Come on, Dave.
Well, if you can tell me Brandon Ingram's more healthy, if I got him more available, I'm taking him over Jamal Murray.
They're not winning. They're not listening to me. Denver's not winning that. Denver, as good as the Joker is, they're not winning that championship without Murray. That's a fact.
Richie, I'm not saying that. It's not a slap in the face to Murray, but I think Brandon Ingram is more valuable than a healthy Jamal Murray for me. That's just my opinion.
It's a personal preference.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to trash. Yeah, I'm not trying to trash Jamal Murray. That's just my opinion.
You can sit there and say you have Ingram on the same level as Brandon Ingram.
What I've seen from Ingram.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. Because I can tell you this, Richie. One's made an All-Star team, the other one hasn't.
Listen, Ingram is better.
No, Ingram's an All-Star. He's a former All-Star. Murray's never made an All-Star team. I don't believe.
Out there himself.
Brandon, come on, Dave. You keep saying that, but Brandon Ingram hasn't made an All-Star game in years.
No, but he's made one. Jamal, I don't think ever has.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at, dude,
he's been hurt. He's been hurt.
But they're about the same. Aren't they about the same age? Ingram's 26. Jamal Murray's in that same area. He's got to be about 25, 26, right?
Yeah. Listen. What's up, Darren? What's up? Where you at, boy? Listen, Lance said the X factor is what Dyson Daniels can do at the point position.
And, they played him a little bit at point last year. I mean, Dyson, to me, dude, is I think he's got, I'm not saying he's Herb defensively, but he ain't that far behind Herb. If you watch this kid play defense for a 20-year-old kid, he's light years ahead of where he should be. I mean, Dyson has a decent jumper. He just doesn't use it a lot. I think it needs a little work. It's not a lost cause. But, I mean, I don't know. Dyson, I hate to give up. There's a lot of people thinking that we're going to give up Dyson in one of these trades, which I hate to do. I understand it. But, I mean, Dyson's a guy with a load of potential.
So,
that's what I'm saying. This team knows how to draft for the most part.
In basketball, there's gradual steps. You don't do all things at the same time like LeBron does. So some guys, they'll work all off season on Dyson would do, his first rookie, second year. He worked on defense, and then you start working on your shot. Then third year, the defense is unlocked. That's muscle memory. Then, Trey Murphy, he worked on his shooting. Thanks,
worked
Darren. On his defense.
I know, Darren. Listen, Darren ain't joining us tonight, y'all. He's at work, just letting everybody know. I'm sorry to cut you off, Pancho.
No, that's what I'm saying. So basically, in basketball, it's steps. You normally don't get a guy come in and just dominate. You'll start to see a real big upside on one side. And then 3 and 4, you'll start to see an upside on the offensive defensive side when they started working on that. But, you know what I'm saying? Some guys are just naturally gifted where they have it all.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Dyson could develop into a 15-point per game guy.
Listen,
I mean, it's possible.
We're not going to dive all over the place. But what I mean by this, Pancho, is, and I was talking to Dave, what I mean by is, Pancho, B.I.'s got to be Zion's running mate. Most running mates. If you look at the second running mate of most teams, I mean, it's a big difference. I mean, you got Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. You got Kyrie Irving
but
and
Richie,
Luka.
I take average 24, 25 points a game. I mean,
he's better. I mean, Richie, he's better than a lot of teams' second best players. He's better than a lot of teams' first best players.
You think Brandon Ingram's better than Devin Booker?
No, I never said that. I said he's better than a lot of teams' second best players, and he would be the best player on 5 or 6 NBA teams easily.
Brandon Ingram?
Brandon Ingram, absolutely.
No shot.
So I could name 6 right now if you want. I mean,
Trailblazers.
I would say Washington.
You're naming teams that aren't relevant.
But I'm saying there's still teams. There's still pro teams.
The Pelicans are a contending team. They have 50 wins.
I think he's the best player in the Rockets right now. I think the Rockets have a lot of young talent, but he's the best player in that team right now if he went there.
He's the best player on that team if he went there today.
Yeah.
But
he's not a scrub. I mean, he's a heck of a...
I'll give you another young team. He wouldn't be the second best player on OKC.
No, but Richie, you searching for one
team. Would he be the second best player on OKC?
No, not on the top 10 teams. But
Richie, you talking about the top? That's what I'm saying. You talking about an elite team? Yeah, you talking. I'm talking about a lot of other teams. I mean, honestly, I think on the Knicks he would be one of the top 2 players. No doubt.
Come on.
Who's better than him besides Brunson?
Randall's better than him.
I don't know, man.
And he's a 5-time.
They did most of their damage without doing. They were a better team without Randall.
He's a 5-time All-Star.
Who?
Randall.
I don't think he's made 5 All-Star games.
In the shitty division.
I gotta Google that shit.
He made the All-NBA team 3 years ago.
That's the Eastern Conference. There's no talent.
No, I'm gonna put my over/under for 2 All-Star games for him. I don't think he
made the All-NBA team. Listen. He made not even All-Star. He made the All-NBA team 3 years ago. All-NBA team.
Ricky,
but I don't think is he really a 5-time All-Star?
He played in the East, bro. So that's
all right. So I'm gonna give you this, Richie. We're meeting in between. We're meeting in. Poncho's making a hell of a point. He does play in a weaker deal with power forwards.
Agree. I'm not denying that.
I won't say that. So we both wrong. He made 3 All-Star teams, which more than I thought, less than what you thought, but more than what I thought. So
Lance says 2 times. Lance says Julius Randle hasn't been at all. Yes, he has.
That's what I said. I'm with Lance. Says no, dude. Julius Randle's not a bad player. I'm not taking a shot, but I would take Brandon Ingram over him right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Brandon, it's hard to make it, dude, as a wing, as a small forward in the Western Conference.
You would take Brandon Ingram over Julius Randle right now?
Yeah, dude, yeah.
No.
Brandon Ingram healthy is
you can replace Julius Randle with Josh Hart. I mean, that team played better without Randle.
I'm just saying the second run. I probably would. Oh man, I don't know. I don't want to say that.
I mean, Richie, look, I'm not doubting what you're saying. Listen, there are better Robins to Batman than Brandon Ingram, but he's better than a lot of guys. I mean, listen, the only reason we're talking this about Brandon,
I mean, I might take Austin Reeves over BI. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's insulting, dude. That's a fuck. I'll take BI on crutches and fucking high as a kite before I.
Richie, shut it down.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, bro.
Dude, Austin Reeves. I'll be real with you. Austin Reeves. I'd take Jordan Hawkins right now.
I'll take Anthony Davis over Brandon Ingram.
No, and I understand that, and I could agree with that, Richie. I mean, that's Anthony Davis is like a top probably 15 player in the league. You know what I mean? He's pretty good. I mean, look, dude. I'm just saying this about Ingram.
I would take. Listen, I'm gonna give you a better one. I would take Trae Young over Brandon Ingram.
I don't know, man. And look, dude, that's a hard one for me. I mean, I know that it probably should be yes towards Trae Young, but I think it's closer to what people look. Dude, if Brandon Ingram wasn't injury prone like he was, and his contract wasn't coming up, we wouldn't be trading him right now. We're trading him because he's injury prone, and we can't pay to do the max. We want to get some. Look, Richie, we want to get something for him before he leaves. We want to get something before he leaves town. We're not willing to pay him the money, so we want to get the best ransom we can get for him. It's not because he's a bad basketball player. You know what I mean? That's when Saints fans are tripping out about trading Marshawn Lattimore. You're not trading him because you got a better corner than him, but you're trying to get something for him. You know what I'm saying? So, Brandon, dude, I wish we could keep Brandon.
That's shameful. You would put BI in the same category in the same breath as Lattimore. Come on.
No, but I'm just trying to make a point. I'm saying like Lattimore's a top probably 5 or 6 corner in the NFL.
Lattimore's a future Hall of Famer, man. Come on.
No. I'm just trying to say, like, sometimes when you trade a guy, you're not trading him, we're just trying to give the other team our garbage. No, you're trying to get something in return when your team is rebuilding or when your team has a contract situation like the Pelicans have. You got to be smart about it. You can't lose him in the offseason and say, hey, we're not going to pay you and get nothing for him. You got to try to move on now.
I think that's where the Lakers are at with AD. I think that's what they should be doing, the same exact thing. They should be getting what they could for AD to set up their future. I understand you got LeBron. LeBron took a Cavs team to the finals. I mean, it can happen.
Oh, Lord. Breaking news. Oh, my God.
Trade?
No. That all signs point to the Lakers using their 17th pick on Bronny James. What in the
I would laugh my fucking ass off if they do that.
That's ridiculous. That's
I
sad.
hope they do that. If they do that, I'm gonna celebrate, bro. I'm gonna play some Cool in the Gang like our buddy in the truck played when Drew Brees retired, which is the biggest loss in history, by the way.
What if possible? If that's right?
Listen, I told you this months ago.
Oh wait, how can they say that though? How can they say that?
Listen, I brought this up months ago when the topic wasn't even an issue. I brought it up. I said, what do the Lakers do with Bronny James? Or are they going to give up a first-round pick? I believe there's so much chatter out there that they don't want anybody else to control their faith in where LeBron goes. So
right.
At 17, are you going to get anybody to help your team in the next year or two at 17? Probably not. So what are you losing anyway?
You're making more sense than some of us, because including me, that the talent's so bad. Dave, he does have a point. The talent is so bad in this draft. They can say, like, there's nothing there, really.
No, but I don't. But see, here's where I disagree. And I agree with Pancho.
There's stuff there, but do you risk, the big prize over something that you're hoping for? You get what I'm saying?
I draft that son of a bitch in the second round. That's what I'm saying. Look, dude, I'm going to say this.
That teams will draft him to make that. They want to make that an issue.
Oh,
and then the Lakers don't.
Did y'all see the Pistons jump a little high on that guy?
Hey, you know that analyst Wendy on ESPN?
Wait, is that the dude who looks like Angel Heart?
Yes.
The dude looks like Robert De Niro and Angel Heart. I don't know if anybody's going to get that reference. But
they're saying he's reporting that LeBron has told the Lakers that he will immediately sign a 2-year extension after the draft.
And this is, I'll be real with you, dude. And this is where, if I'm a Lakers fan, I don't like this at all. And if I was, this is the type of stuff. I don't honestly think guys like Jordan and Barkley and Elijah Wan from the '90s or Isaiah Thomas, I don't think they would help team hostage like this.
Well,
you're holding your team hostage by this.
If you're AD, what do you do now?
I tell him, but the problem is AD's, he's sitting there making money. He's in LA.
You're not making my team any fucking better.
If AD really wants to win, then he'd ask for a trade. That's what I would do. I would try to go to somewhere in the East Coast or somewhere, man. I mean,
maybe this sets it up. I said if JJ comes, AD's gone.
It might be, dude. I mean, remember, they weren't they teammates at one point in time, right? So, I mean, that's an intriguing thing. Because, I mean, what, JJ spent, 2 years here, was it?
Yeah.
I think if Anthony Davis, it don't make no sense now for Chicago neither, because Chicago's tearing it down too now, man.
But to me, like, why not? Like, see, Houston is a team to me. They wanted. I'm surprised they stuck with their third pick because they wanted it. They kept saying that's why the Ingram conversation happened.
Dave, this is just hypothetical. Just throwing it out there. Would the Pelicans revisit that with Anthony Davis?
I don't think. No.
No, we don't want to. No.
I don't think they do.
I think our need at guard is.
Well, let me ask you this, Dave. Would that put you over the hump at center?
I think you need to, like Poncho's saying, I like this DeJounte Murray kind of. I know that,
but how much better than will? I mean, you would make the Pelicans a lot better, especially defensively.
Ricky, but I think you're still going to need a point guard. I mean, you're still going to need that point guard.
You're trying to dump salary for no salary. You're trying to flip that upside down, if you can understand that.
And Richie, who are you losing? Yeah, who are you going to lose for this?
We got Trey Murphy and Herb Jones coming up. We got to sign. So
I know exactly what you're saying. Listen, I know exactly what you're saying, Patrick, and I agree with you. We need help at center position and point. I get, but you're going to tell me you're going to pass up getting an opportunity of getting a top center?
But wait, so you saying to send Brandon Ingram that way? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know, man. It would. It's look. It's bizarre.
Everybody can say what they want. Everybody can say what they want.
You can't acquire.
I would have loved to see Zion.
Listen,
I know that, but everybody can say what. Poncho, I get what you're saying. Everybody can say what they want, but I think everybody would have loved to see Zion play with Anthony Davis. Seriously.
In an All-Star game. That's the closest you're gonna get. Listen, you can't take that salary on. You can't take it. You can, but you can't. If you take it, the problem is that's why these teams, they got 2 good players or 3 big players and nobody else.
You're going to have to take the salary on Poncho. You're going to get another star when you trade B.I.
B.I.'s not on the book. I mean, he's off the book. So then you got to sign Trey.
Okay, but if you go get Murray or you go get Trey Young, they're going to want another contract extension.
No, they're under contract. Murray's got like 4. That's the beauty of Murray.
They're locked in.
Yeah, Murray's got 4 years, I think, left on his deal. That's why I'm really a fan of Murray too. I think he's a heck of a player, but his contract's really great, man.
You got to play the money. You got to.
Yeah, the money is a factor, man.
You know, this is. I think everybody's missing a point, and I think a lot of teams are going to look at this now. And I don't know if y'all agree with me. The team that just congratulations to the Boston Celtics, because we didn't say that yet today.
Yeah. Oh, great. Drew Holiday. Congrats to Drew Holiday. I mean, one of the best guys.
I'm not saying, listen, I'm not saying they're the greatest team to ever win the finals, because I'm not.
No.
But I will say this. I've never seen a team, I don't know if y'all agree with me, I've never seen a team that the player from 1 all the way to the bench to 7 can play both sides of the ball. That's incredible.
No, they're very unique. I mean, and dude, but it goes back to, and to me, this is where I think we need a point guard. You've got basically 3 or 4 guys that could technically play a point role. I mean, Tatum could play point forward. You got Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday, Derek White. How many guys do the Pelicans have that could realistically bring the ball up, set somebody else, or get their own shot? I mean, you got McCollum, Zion, B.I. to a certain degree with that. But, I mean, that's not Herb's game. That's not Trey's game. It's not Hawk's game. Definitely not Valanciunas' game. So, I mean, to me, it's like you got to have more guys that could do that.
Terrence said maybe 1 through 8. He might be right. That's a deep team, boy. Woo.
No, they are, man. And like I said, congrats to Drew. I'm happy for Drew Holiday. I really am, man. Like that dude winning his 2nd ring. I mean, I know Richard Brown.
I'm gonna be. If they keep that team together, dude, I'd say they should be the favorite again next year.
Oh, they will. They will. I mean, Drew. I think I was even telling y'all I thought Drew could be a possibility for the Lakers. Like, maybe coming home, but I don't think that's going to happen. He's staying there. He knows he could win again. I mean, he's got a great thing going.
There was some good teams out there that was pretty deep. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, some of the Bulls teams. I mean. You could go with the Scotty and
what we mean by deep? But what we mean by deep is this: they don't miss a beat on offense or defense.
No, I get it. The Bulls did go 72-10. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so but Scottie Pippen wasn't a shooter. Scottie Pippen wasn't a shooter, dude. Come on, let's be honest.
Scottie can shoot, man. Scottie can shoot. Hey, Scottie had one of the best pull-up jumpers of his time.
And we all know Dennis Rodman definitely couldn't shoot.
No, now Dennis Rodman can shoot, but Scottie was a hell of a shooter. Scottie Pippen right now be a top 3 player in the NBA.
That's what I'm getting at. Everybody in Boston can shoot and play defense.
John Paxson, Judd Russell, Craig Hodges, DJ Armstrong, Steve Kerr. I mean,
the Bulls had floor spacers. They did.
But Pancho, you're not understanding me. There was guys on that team that could not shoot that well. It was.
Dan Marley was a killer, but he didn't play for the Bulls.
No, just under Dan, man. No, but hey, I want to before that series started, we were talking about Porzingis too. I know Pancho brought it up. I think I brought it up. Probably Richie, all of us, Darren. We all talked about Porzingis and Drew Holiday as 2 guys that could really be factors. I mean, we knew all about Tatum and Brown, but when Porzingis and Holiday were having those games that they were having, man, it's hard to beat that team. I mean, Dallas just didn't have the depth. I mean, they had Luka and they had Kyrie, but after that, to me, that's where Boston is the difference. And that's to me where you got to have depth. You know what I mean?
What was your take on the trade with the Knicks with Mikal Bridges? I am not a Mikal guy at all. His shot, he has to have the ugliest shot.
Dude, that's a lot of freaking picks to give up for you. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's great. He's not Brandon Ingram to me. I'll take Brandon Ingram over him.
They're putting that Nova team back together.
Hey, that's wild. I will say that, man. I do like, don't get me wrong, I think the Knicks gave up a little too much. I think they jumped a little crazy on him, but I do like what they're doing with that team. It's intriguing.
I agree. Listen, let's get some of these comments. I agree with Donald just posted Dallas was tired. I agree with it. I think Dallas was exhausted. I do. I think they didn't
have the depth. I mean, you had to play Luka and Kyrie so many minutes. You know what I mean? You couldn't go to the bench like Boston
Tatum,
could.
Listen, Lance says Tatum's about to get the max contract around $315, and he's not even the best player on his team now. Crazy.
That's why. Well, I mean, and Richie, we debated that. We joked in the comments because I mean, I still think they're 1 and 1A. I don't even know. To me, it flip flops game to game with those two. I mean,
I wouldn't disagree. I
can see people going both ways.
I wouldn't disagree with you, Dave. I mean, I know me and you go back and forth on it, but I think,
they're both great players.
But Dave, you have to agree. Jason Tatum is the starter for the USA team. He's all defensive. I mean, he's all NBA team. He don't play like it though, Dave. He doesn't.
He's a little. I think he's kind of like this millennial mindset. I don't know if anybody knows. I guess he doesn't have. And no, he's a great player, but it seems like he lacks a little killer instinct to me. And I'm not saying he can't close out games or this and that, but he don't have that dog like you see in Anthony Edwards to me.
I agree with that, and I think that's what Caitlin Clark's problem is. She don't have that dog in her. I do. I don't think so.
I think she will, Richie. I think she will. I think she will, though.
Clayton Clark got all the dog in her, dog.
No, I think she will. I think she will.
Listen, I seen her pull up shots like Steph Curry style.
That's not dog. That's not a dog. Dog's getting in that paint and grinding.
We should give a free prize tonight to any.
Putting the ball in your hand at money time. That's a dog. LeBron don't do that, so you don't get to see that often.
But Pancho, Dave, did you truly watch that game the other night, Sunday?
Oh yeah, well, I watched the one a couple Sundays ago. I thought it was
listen, Pancho,
Caitlin
Clark was disappointing in that fourth quarter. She disappeared.
No, Richie, I didn't watch that game, but the game before that, she was money in the fourth. The game where Angel fouled her, and it was the big debate whether it was a foul, which was a little blown out of proportion.
I watched the Sunday game, and she.
Yeah, no, I heard Angel was balling, and dude, and I like you ain't got to like one over the other, in my opinion. I mean, it's cool. It's like Bird and Magic, or whoever. But to me, it's like you can root for both girls because that's how I feel about it, man. Angel's got her year at LSU. She plays for Chicago. I'm a big Chicago sports guy. And Caitlin, dude, is like one of the best stories in sports right now. So I mean, I like them both, dude. I mean, I root for both girls,
Man, big college baseball this week too, man. Big ups to Tennessee. The Volunteers, they came back. But it's 5 years in a row that an SEC team has won the NCAA, the World Series.
Yeah.
Really?
So
that's wild.
That's a big deal.
Then Texas A&M's coach, right, 24 hours after they lost, he's taking a job over at Texas for the head coaching job at Texas. So
money, brother, money.
A&M's got the most money. Got more money than anybody.
They're pretty close, Pancho. Texas and A&M are pretty close.
If anybody could name the last guy picked in the draft, you should win $100 prize from somewhere. Because I mean, I couldn't even begin to start on this guy from France that the Hornets just drafted. I don't know if you saw his name, but if you could pronounce it, good luck.
The guy from the Hornets?
Yeah. Anybody want to try that? I don't know a lot about the guy. I'll be real with you.
I was explaining to Richie earlier. So, as a program, if you can build your program through drafting, which we have, and then you can bring one player in, but you can't you can't afford to bring 3 and 4 players in at big money. Like the Knicks, they did get Brunson in, but a lot of their players, through draft, Mitch Robinson, your Thunders,
I mean, they made the deal with R.J. Barrett to get Anunoby and everything, but he's still a young guy as well,
Yeah, but you're using your young guys as assets in some ways. You get what I'm saying? So you make things
right. I mean, look
drafts,
at Oklahoma City. Look at Oklahoma City with Chet Holmgren. I mean, they just moved Josh Giddey, but he was home. But that Cat Williams, the one who really did us in that series, wasn't Dortz a homegrown guy? I mean, look at Minnesota with Anthony Edwards, Anthony Towns.
Why would you trade Caruso for Giddey?
The only thing I can see is Giddey's contract, I think, is up in another year. That's the only reason. I think you got a guy, Caruso, who's making like a fraction of Giddey's contract, what it's going to be. You know what I mean? That's the only reason. I mean, I take Giddey as the player over Caruso. Caruso's a good defender, but I think Giddey's the better player. But I don't know, man. They got a lot of unhappy teenage girls in Oklahoma City right now.
Richie,
I mean,
Pancho, your boy from UConn just went.
Yeah.
Wait, who's that?
The Portland Trailblazers.
Who's that?
Donovan Klingling.
Oh, that's the guy you like, the big man, huh?
Yeah, he just went to the Portland Trailblazers. Man, I tell you, this draft. And Pancho, you made a great point. This has got to be the weakest draft.
I mean, somebody will come out of it, maybe 2 or 3 guys, and produce. You're not going to see anything immediate. There's no head turners. I mean, there's a couple of shooters that can make a name here and there, but there's not that one guy. So again, that's why the Pels traded out at that pick, because they had nothing there. So I mean, you pass it down the road and hopefully you acquire a better pick and a better draft.
Hey, what's the odds of the Pelicans reaching out to Karl Anthony Towns?
I don't see. Man, look, Richie, I think the plan is going to be to get that center of the future in this draft. I think they're going to – I'm telling you, man, I don't know why this Clint Capella, DeJounte Murray thing just seems like it's going to happen. But I know they want Jared Allen, but Cleveland, they said Jared Allen and Donovan Mitchell are very tight, and that's an unlikely thing to happen to them, to trade Jared Allen. That's the word around the campfire. So, I mean, I don't know, dude. I think the T-Wolves are going to try to keep this thing together. They were this close. They're moving in the right direction. I think they keep that group together as long as they can.
I think it's pretty obvious that the teams that's tearing it down so far. The Nets are definitely tearing it down. Chicago, I think, is tearing it down.
And they needed to. Chicago needed to.
At what point do the Warriors tear it down?
I don't know if they could. What these rumors with Paul George or whatever. I mean, I don't know, man. If they could go land a guy like Paul George with Curry, I mean, they're getting older, but they're still going to be dangerous.
You said yourself, and I agree with you 100%. Sooner or later, the Lakers and the Warriors are going to have to look at their roster and say, listen, we just need to start over.
I mean, Curry's a lot younger than LeBron, though, right? He's what, like 6 years younger?
Curry's 35 this year, dude.
It's allowing
He's 35? Damn, I thought he was like 33. My bad. Shit. No. Well, I don't know, man.
And he's on record saying he's not playing past 37. He's on record saying that.
So the Warriors are in a different area than most people because they have drafted well. And so they were able to pay the 2-3 guys and keep that team together by keeping rookies and getting them to produce. You didn't after the third player, like everybody else was making scrub money. And they was just shining. Jordan Clarkson, you had all these other guys just coming up the pipe, Jordan Poole, producing.
They never should have let your boy go to the Knicks, dude.
So you seen how bad it was when Klay Thompson went down and Steph.
I understand that, Pancho, but they let your boy go. They let Porzingis go to the Knicks, dude, and that dude balled out.
It's hard to keep it going as long as what those guys have, though. I mean, all great things come to an end. I mean, they've had that going for a long time.
He's only 22 years old.
Oh, yeah. I mean, sometimes, look, you win some, you lose some. But overall, like Pancho said, you draft well. They've always found these gems.
I think over the years, Pancho, I'm not disagreeing with you, Pancho. They drafted well and went, I'm not going to discredit the Warriors at all. But I think also at the end of the day, because of some of these contracts with Klay Thompson and a few of the older guys, they let some of this young talent get away from them.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, you got to sacrifice, and it's
like I say, you can't keep them all. Yeah, I mean that's the problem.
You got to sell jerseys, you got to sell merchandise, and when
I mean,
and
that,
show
that
face.
salary cap's going to catch you in
I
every
mean,
sport.
you can say
I
win
think it's
Except
likeness
going,
and
baseball.
show face.
bro.
You know, Mark
Gang, gang,
shot back
hey,
in it.
hey,
Listen,
hey, Dave, I was wrong. Steph Curry's 36.
He's really 36. Damn, I would have not
Yeah.
guessed that. I was thinking 33, 34. Damn.
It's definitely
Wow.
time, Dave. I think you would say
I
that,
mean,
Dave.
look, I think the Warriors are definitely. Look, I told you, man. I think the Warriors, the Clippers, and the Lakers are all old hat. I think they're all trending in the wrong direction. I think the West is going to be the Nuggets. It's going to be the Mavs, the Pelicans. I think the Grizzlies are going to bounce back. I think the Wolves are there, the Thunder. I think that's your teams to beat in the West. And keep an eye out on Houston, man. They're not that far away. If San Antonio hits on that pick with their kid Stephon Castle.
Speaking of Houston, I felt bad for the Houston coach because he really built that Boston team up, man. That was his team.
Udoka,
Yeah.
his pride. He just couldn't keep the Jimmy happy, man. He was
man,
he was rolling around, man.
I seen the other day, Dave?
That dude's a wild cat, bro.
Look, I just seen like a little informational thing on Marge shot, dude. You remember Marge?
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Remember
That lady
Marge?
today
You know
wouldn't make it.
Marge shot.
Woo. Eric Davis, Barry Larkin era, man.
She
For the Reds.
was the owner for the Cincinnati Reds for the
What's
longest.
up, Signature?
And so remember they won. Remember they swept the series of 1 year, or they got something, and she took the whole team out of the hotel and put them like in a motel because she wanted the revenue for another game, and they closed the game out too fast. Whatever. She was one of the worst owners in it.
She was like Donald Sterling's mom. Like
What's
she
up,
was.
Shane?
It's mad,
She was
dude.
like on the sideline, like in the stand, smoking cigarettes.
Oh, she was like. I mean, I always I got to Google her and see how they came into money because she just strikes me as kind of a crazy chick. Like she seemed like she was off the reservation. That lady, man. You know, she was different. Let's put it that way.
All right,
not a nice woman.
Where we heading, Rich? What we got?
No, bro. I think Gus got into something. I mean,
that's all good. We good.
He fell asleep in his draft
listen,
or what?
guys, if there's anybody out there that has any access to any retail stores, be it clothing stores or merchandise stores, Big Easy Mafia is looking to put their merchandise to some stuff out there. So if you got any access or any hookups, hook up with Big Easy Mafia Facebook page, Messenger, and get with them. They're one of our major sponsors. So let's show them some love also.
Yeah, man. So you always show that love. So listen, I promised a little bit of it. I know Dave wanted to dive into it a little bit of fantasy football. You know, Dave, you got any surprises this year?
Man, like, are we talking about rookies or are we going? I know we had joked about the rookies a little bit.
I mean, there's a lot of bodies that moved around, so.
Yeah.
I'm actually.
Good.
No, you go.
No, I mean, I've had this weird. I think there's some guys that's going to disappoint. I think a guy like, to me, and maybe I'm wrong, man. I'll come back to it if I am, but I think Tony Pollard's going to be a big disappointment. I think Tajay Spears is going to run through Tennessee and be the man out there. I think Ladd McConkey is going to be the best rookie receiver out this class. Not best career-wise, best fantasy guy this year. I think Malik Neighbors is going to have a great season. I think Harrison will. But I think Ladd McConkey with Herbert, dude, I think that dude's going to go off this year if he's healthy.
I think a lot of things are shifting in fantasy football right now. I think, especially if you're in dynasty leagues and keeper leagues, you really need to watch. I tell people, really watch what you're gonna stay with and give up. And depending on what you got to give up in some leagues, where you're gonna draft at, where the pick's gonna be at, you really got to look at that. I think running back is really, really iffy on things right now, man. I think it's turning more, especially if you're in the PPR league. I think it's more of a wide receiver league.
Wide receiver craze.
So listen, Rich, I'm totally opposite on that also. So the wide receivers, you have a lot of movement. You got a lot of coaches moving. You got a lot of quarterbacks that moved around. You got wide receivers that move around. Keenan Allen, I think with DK, you got guys that moved around, and you got a lot of projects that have to get it together. So you got certain quarterbacks that's just coming in. You know, even Aaron Rodgers that didn't play all last year. You got moving parts all over the place. You got receivers moving from one spot to the next spot. So I think, you know, your running backs are basically hand the ball off and run. You know, your receivers, you have to be in sync and run routes and you know, are familiar with your QBs at all. You know what I'm saying?
You do have a lot of new running backs in new places, though.
But I'm fine
taking
with running back. Running back, you turn around and hand the ball off. I mean,
I don't know. See, I get what you're saying. I do think sometimes, though, running backs, man, you got to learn that blocking scheme a little bit, man. I think it's a transition for both guys. I mean, I don't know, man. I
think when it comes to fantasy now, dude, I think it's more of a 2 running back system now with most teams.
Yeah.
So it's hard to draft a running back. It really is.
I mean, you almost got to just have depth on your fantasy team and running back and try to hit the home runs at like receiver and tight end almost. I mean, and tight ends have had like a renaissance, man, the last 2 years. I mean, tight end was kind of like, oh, it was either Kelsey or Kittle, and that was it. Now it's like, look at all the guys.
Darren's saying he's got the best team. Everybody always comes with the best. Listen, you got
to play Dynasty, dude. Dynasty is where it's at. Like, redraft is what my great-grandpa played.
We had 2 leagues last year for down south. We're gonna do 4 this year, so because people have already been asking. We're not doing no dynasty leagues. It's just all redrafts. Me and Pancho talk. You know, I think it's better to go redrafts. But listen, I think, believe it or not, and Darren and actually Dave, give Dave credit on this because he's the one that brought it up to us that no quarterback ever in the history of Chicago has ever thrown for 5,000 yards, I do believe, right? Is that
4,000?
right?
No, never threw for 4,000. Yeah.
4,000.
No.
Wow.
No. And I mean, me and Chris, we always disagreed on that whole concept.
I think Caleb's gonna break that this year.
He's got a good opportunity, man. But I want to say one other name in fantasy. I was just talking about some different guys I thought that would hit that might not be. I don't like to give the obvious ones like, oh, yeah, Justin Jefferson's going to have an awesome year, or Christian McCaffrey. I like to kind of go like I did with Pacheco last year. You know, I talked about different guys like that. I like to go on to guys like Tajay Spears. Now, this guy ain't like a total diamond in the rough, but we know him pretty well. I think Chris Olave is going to have a freaking badass year this year. I think. And, you know, I've been the harshest critic of Olave. It's not because I don't like him. I think Chris Olave is catching 100 passes for 1,400 yards this year. I'm just going to say that.
Listen, Brandon just said they're doing their first on-live location draft July 19th at our sponsor. Wow. Whoa.
Let's go, man. Let's be there, man. Let's freaking do it, man. We can make
July 19th. That's early, bro. Whoa, man.
We could go out there and clown people's picks. We could give, you know, free shots to guys that make good picks, you know, whatever, man. Let's get something going with that.
Darren says he thinks 22 will have a great year for the Saints.
Yeah, I mean, I had to sit there and think for a second. Wait a second.
That's Rashid, right?
Rashid, yeah. No, I think that as well. I'll say this about Olave. I don't know if you guys had a chance to catch his interview. You know, I've been critical. They in
Greenville. Brandon said they're in Greenville, South Carolina. No, can't make that, Brandon.
Oh, we would have missed that one.
Share it. Make sure if y'all can. There's a way to share it. We'll share it on our page. It's no problem.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey, go check out Richie, Pancho. You guys, Darren, Fatty, everybody, go check out Olave. They interviewed him, you know, at the facility, you know, about a week or 2 ago. And I mean, he talked a lot about Clint Kubiak, and he kind of took some backhanded shots at however that expression is at Pete Carmichael. He basically talked about how the offense makes sense a little more, how it's setting guys up for yards after the catch and things that they should have been doing. But he didn't do it like offensively, but he made a lot of sense of what he was saying, and he showed a lot of maturity, Chris Olave. And the way he spoke about Kubiak, Carr, the rest of his teammates, I think the dude matured a little bit. To me, that's the only thing that was missing for this kid is just putting it all together and maturing as an individual, man.
Paid, Dave. He wants to get paid.
No, I mean, but this is year 3, and I mean, look, he's a good receiver, but he's not a great receiver yet. But he can be a great receiver. He's not a great receiver for me right now, but he will be if he keeps up his path.
I've had 2 conversations with him, and he's been the most respectful guy there is. Mature, everything. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? No, so like he was like mature. He was he knows. You know, these players in these positions drafted, they know the weight is on their shoulders. Some guys can handle it. Peyton Turners can't. I mean, you got, you know, Trevor Penning's as much as they try.
It's definitely a maturity factor in the NFL right now.
And you can call it what it is. It's more of a talent evaluation, lack of thereof. I mean, Trevor Penning should never have been drafted in the first round by anybody. You know,
I tell you what, they said. They said it's shocking how good Sam Darnold looks in Minnesota.
That's pretty wild. You're going to piss off a lot of fantasy guys who drafted J.J. McCarthy in these dynasty leagues, man. Because, I mean, he went high in some
the coach already said it. He's a day 1 starter. He already said it.
Who, Darnold?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I don't think McCarthy's ready, man. I mean, he didn't throw the ball a lot in college, man. I
Listen,
give
I was on
Darnold a few
vacation
games.
for the last week or so. I didn't. Last I heard, like Caleb was throwing up some ducks. I mean, is that still the
Oh,
case?
Caleb looked bad. They say Caleb looked bad in camp, bro. Really bad.
So how you got
I
him
don't put
throwing
too
five?
much into it, though, man. I don't put too much into it, man.
They said the same thing about Jamal Chase in camp in Cincinnati. He came out and got Rookie of the Year.
Jesus
Johnny,
Christ. I like the guy.
is he Johnny Manziel?
No, come on,
shit.
come on, Pancho.
You're going to have
Stop.
Chris interfere with this podcast here in a minute. The Knowles is going to come up out of here,
Pancho,
man.
really?
I'm
Really,
asking you.
Caleb?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
No, look, I'm going to say
asking.
this because if Camp, like, look, dude, how many Emmanuel Butlers and
I
Randy
would say
Tanners
this.
we
I'm
have?
pretty. Listen, and here we go.
Here's the predicament.
Darren's probably gonna say. Darren's gonna say I'm sipping on the syrup again. But I'm gonna make a bold prediction right now. Caleb Williams finishes in top 5 passing in the NFL.
In what, rating or yards or what?
In rating and yards, both.
I don't think he gets the yards, man. I'm telling you, y'all. Look, the Chicago thing. I've argued with Chris, our buddy who's on the podcast in the past,
and not just because of him, Dave. I want y'all to hear me out. Not just because of him, Pancho. I think it's more to do because he's got the veterans around him that's gonna help him.
But you gotta have chemistry too, Rich. It's gonna take a while to develop that chemistry.
You got him more Pat Mahomes than Johnny Manziel.
I got him more CJ Stroud than anything.
Well, let me ask you this, though. But here's my thing. See, so Derek Carr, I defended Carr a lot last year. Overall, you look at Carr's stats, they were pretty good. I know that might piss off some fans hearing that, but his stats were pretty good. He was a top 10 QBR guy. His touchdown-interception ratio was good. But it was hard coming into a new team. We've seen Russell Wilson look like dog shit going to a new team. We saw Deshaun Watson look like dog shit going to a new team. Here's a guy that's a rookie that's been playing in Southern California his whole life, basically, or, his whole college career. You go to Chicago, where by the time it's middle of October, you're looking at 20-mile-per-hour winds off of Lake Michigan. You're looking at 35-degree days. You got 3 receivers that you got to develop chemistry with. So to me, look, I'm not saying Caleb ain't going to be good. I believe in Caleb, Richie. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. But I think that rookie year, he's going to take some lumps early, man. Look, if he comes out killing it, dude, and that's like one of the best rookie seasons of all time, the dude's a Hall of Famer.
Lance said Jordan Addison's a sleeper. I agree. I don't know if he's a sleeper, but I think he's going to be.
I love Jordan Addison, dude. That's a guy last year I talked about too. I love.
I'll have my official rankings done by within the next 2 weeks, and I'll share them on the pod. But I believe it or not, one of my shocking things that people are going to have is I actually have, and y'all know this is a big for me, I actually have CJ Stroud ranked higher than Patrick Mahomes.
Well, in fantasy, it could make sense.
This is in fantasy.
Yeah. Do you know what Stroud's number is going to be when he's due for contract? He's going to make his number is going to be 85 per when he's due for contract.
It's pretty wild. It's going to be. It's going to be pretty crazy.
Listen, let me ask y'all this, and he's
going to get 85 per.
Let me ask y'all this. Where do we see, seriously now, and I'm not joking when I say this, where do we see Joe Burrow going? Because of the injuries, he's never finished a NFL training camp yet in his NFL career. Can he stay healthy enough? Where do we see this going?
So here goes let me give you square one here. This is what happens when you invest money at every other position instead of position at need. Your position at need is the line. So as long as you're spending money on 3 receivers,
hold on, Pancho. Hold on.
You
can't use that analogy because listen, hear me out on this. And Dave, you would agree with me. Everybody says that about Joe Burrow. The last 2 seasons, Joe Burrow's injuries came non-contact in training camp. That's a big deal.
Yeah, but
it's a concern. I mean, it's a concern.
The injury that kept him out last year, Pancho, was a non-contact injury.
But you have contact throughout everything else. And it's just the one time you don't have non-contact, something happens.
No, twice. 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row.
I know, but things happen. I mean, things happen. Andrew Luck. I mean, just Aaron Rodgers. I mean, just things happen.
I'm not disagreeing with you because when Joe Burrow's on the field and he is top 1, 2, or 3 in the whole NFL. But the problem is
his O-line.
Yeah, the line is terrible. Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but at what point does it take its toll on him? The man says, I can't do this
hopefully
anymore.
When he has to stop running for his life, he would stop pulling shit.
Hey, is Joe Burrow a little bit of a Zion Williamson? I mean, great,
Yeah.
phenomenal player.
Yeah.
Could be one of the
Yeah.
best players. I mean,
Yep.
let's be real. If Zion plays in 80 games, he's a top 5 player in my opinion in the NBA.
Zion plays 80 games. He's top 3.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, let's be real. And that's what everybody, and I think a lot of fans realize this year. There were a lot more Zion haters when the year started. And I'm not trying to get too off subject, but just to make a point to Burrow, everybody, when you watch Zion when he was really locked in, like that Lakers game, or even all year when he played, he was balling. That dude is phenomenal. And Burrow's the same thing. He is, like you said, he's no worse than the 3rd best quarterback in the league when he's playing. So it's like you just root for those guys to stay healthy. That's all you can hope for, you know.
Well, listen, guys, we're going to call it a night. Hope y'all enjoyed the draft. Thank y'all for joining us. Make sure to share and like the link. Also, make sure to go share the link for Big Easy Mafia. That's our official sponsor for our podcast. Go ahead, Pancho.
Fatty Productions, the Fatties, what is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Bayou Geeks, baby. Make sure to go like and share their page. What's up, Signature? Thank you for sharing it, man. Thank y'all for sharing it. We'll see y'all next Thursday, fellas. Peace out.
All right, guys.